Your brakes are the single most important safety system on your car. Not your tires, not your stability control, your brakes, because everything else depends on them working when you need them to. And yet most drivers pick their brake pads the same way they pick paper towels. They grab whatever's in front of them at the parts store, check that the price isn't too high, and assume that a brake pad is a brake pad. It isn't. The difference between the best brake pad brands and the worst isn't a matter of marginal performance gains on a test track. It's the difference between stopping in 120 feet and stopping in 140 feet at 60 miles per hour. Those 20 feet are the difference between a close call and a collision. It's the difference between a pad that holds its stopping power after repeated hard stops and one that fades, where the friction material overheats and your brake pedal goes soft at exactly the moment you need it firm. And it's the difference between a pad that protects your rotors and one that grinds through them in 18 months, turning a $200 brake job into a $600 one. There are dozens of brake pad brands available in the United States right now. This video is going to rank the major ones from worst to best using 4 metrics: cold stopping distance, which is how quickly the pad stops your car from a cold start; hot stopping distance; and fade resistance, which is how the pad performs after repeated hard stops when the friction material is fully heated; rotor wear rate, which is how aggressively the pad material eats into your rotors over time, and real-world durability data from independent testing and professional mechanic surveys. By the end, you'll know exactly which pads to put on your car and which ones to walk past. Let's start with the brands you need to avoid. The pads in this section have documented problems that go beyond underperformance. They have stopping distance issues, fade problems, or rotor wear rates that cost you significantly more over time than a better pad would. Some are brands you've seen at big box stores. Some are the cheapest option on the shelf at your local parts retailer. All of them have data that says the savings aren't worth it. Bestos Element 3 is the first one. Bestos has been in the brake business for over a century, and their professional grade lines are decent products. The Element 3, however, is their entry-level consumer pad, and it does not perform at the same level as the rest of their lineup. Independent stopping distance tests on Bestos Element 3 ceramic pads show cold stopping distances from 60 miles per hour that run 8 to 12 feet longer than mid-tier competitors. That gap is consistent across multiple vehicle applications and multiple independent test sources. 8 to 12 feet doesn't sound significant until you picture what's at the end of those extra feet. The fade performance is where Element 3 pads create more serious concern. After 5 successive hard stops from 60 miles per hour, the standard fade test protocol, Element 3 pads show stopping distance increases of 15 to 20% compared to the first stop. That's brake fade. Your pedal feels the same, but the pad has lost friction as the material heats up, and you're covering significantly more distance before the car stops. In a panic stop situation after heavy braking, exactly the scenario where you need your brakes most, Element 3 pads are working against you. Duralast is AutoZone's private label brake pad line, manufactured by various suppliers depending on application. That inconsistency in manufacturing source is itself a problem. It means the pad you buy for your front axle and the pad you buy for your rear axle may have been produced by different manufacturers to different quality standards, even though they carry the same Duralast label. Independent testing of Duralast pads shows rotor wear rates that run significantly higher than premium alternatives. Over the life of a set of Duralast pads, the additional rotor wear they generate typically adds 1 full rotor replacement cycle compared to running a quality pad. At $100 to $150 per rotor, that's a $200 to $300 hidden cost attached to the cheaper pad, a cost that doesn't show up at the point of purchase, but shows up when your mechanic tells you your rotors need replacing 18 months sooner than they should. Bosch QuietCast needs a clarification here, because Bosch makes excellent brake pads and the QuietCast line is a capable product for everyday driving. It's included here as a caution against its frequent misapplication. QuietCast pads are engineered for quiet, low-dust street driving in normal conditions, not for performance driving, mountain driving with long downhill grades, or any application that generates repeated hard stops. Drivers who buy QuietCast pads for the wrong application report fade at lower temperatures than performance-oriented pads and stopping distances that increase meaningfully under repeated stress. The pad is fine for what it was designed for. If your driving profile includes anything beyond routine commuting, you need a different pad, now the mid-tier. These pads stop your car reliably at normal speeds, they don't destroy your rotors, and they'll serve most drivers well across a full pad life. The gap between these and the top tier matters more in specific situations: performance driving, mountain roads, heavy vehicles, or drivers who want the maximum margin of safety at all times. ACDelco Advantage is GM's OEM replacement pad, and it performs exactly the way you'd expect from an OEM spec product adequately. Cold stopping distances from 60 miles per hour are competitive with the segment average. Rotor wear rates are reasonable. The ceramic compound produces low dust and reasonable noise levels. Where it falls short is fade resistance. Under repeated hard braking, the Advantage pads show stopping distance increases of around 10 to 12% after successive stops. For normal commuting and highway driving, that's irrelevant. For mountain driving, towing, or any situation where you're asking your brakes to work hard repeatedly, that fade profile is a reason to upgrade. Wagner ThermoQuiet is one of the most widely sold brake pad lines in the country, and it has earned that position. The integrally molded shim that Wagner builds directly into the ThermoQuiet pad, rather than attaching it as a separate component, reduces brake noise more effectively than most competitors in the mid-price range. Stopping distance performance is solid. Cold stops from 60 miles per hour land within 1 to 2 feet of the segment average, and rotor wear rates are reasonable. The fade profile under repeated hard stops shows stopping distance increases of around 8 to 10% after successive stops. ThermoQuiet was optimized for comfort, specifically noise and vibration reduction, rather than for maximum stopping performance. For a daily driver on flat roads, that trade-off is completely reasonable. Bendix Premium Ceramic consistently outperforms its price point in independent testing. Cold stopping distances are competitive with the top of the mid-tier segment, and rotor wear rates are among the lowest in the mid-price range. Fade resistance is where Bendix stands out. Stopping distance increases after successive hard stops run around 6 to 8%, which is closer to top-tier performance than most mid-range pads achieve. If you're looking for the best value in the mid-tier, Bendix Premium Ceramic is the answer. Now, the top performers. Akebono ProAct Ultra Premium is built around Akebono's own ceramic compound technology, developed independently rather than using the generic ceramic blends that most manufacturers buy from the same handful of compound suppliers. The result is a pad that produces less heat under braking than competing ceramics, which directly improves fade resistance. In independent fade tests, Akebono ProAct pads show stopping distance increases of only 3 to 5% after successive hard stops, the best fade numbers in the non-performance street pad segment. Rotor wear rates are consistently among the lowest in independent testing, and dust output is minimal for Japanese vehicle owners in particular, where Akebono's compound is tuned to the specific brake system design. This is the natural top-tier choice. EBC green stuff and red stuff give you a compound match to your driving profile. Green stuff delivers cold stopping distances that consistently rank in the top tier of independent street pad comparisons, with low rotor wear rates and excellent fade resistance for normal street conditions. If you push your car harder, mountain driving, canyon roads, occasional track days, red stuff is the answer. The red stuff compound is rated to significantly higher operating temperatures, which means fade resistance holds up well into conditions that would cause most street pads to lose friction. The one trade-off with red stuff is a slightly longer cold stop compared to a fully warmed-up stop, which matters less the harder you drive. If you drive a performance car, take your car to track days occasionally, or simply want the absolute best stopping performance available for street use, Brembo OE replacement. The compound engineering, the fade resistance data, and the rotor wear profile are all at the top of the segment. One more thing before you go to the parts store. When you replace your brake pads, always check your rotors at the same time. A quality pad on a worn rotor doesn't give you quality braking. It gives you a quality pad trying to work against a compromised surface. The minimum rotor thickness spec for your vehicle is stamped on the rotor itself. If your rotors are at or near minimum thickness, replace them with the pads. The labor cost is nearly identical whether you do both at once or come back 6 months later, and doing both together means your new pads are bedding in against a fresh surface the way they were engineered to. Brake pads are the component on your car most directly connected to whether you stop in time. The difference between the best pad on this list and the worst is $20 to $40 per axle. Set against the cost of a fender replacement, a rotor replacement cycle you could have avoided, or anything worse, that $40 is the easiest spending decision your car will ever ask you to make. Like and subscribe if this video interested you. See you in the next one.